Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to do the February month-ahead forecast today. We're going to have a look at the long-range CFS version 2 model and the model from the Beijing Climate Centre. We're going to attempt to produce a forecast for the United Kingdom for February 2013. Now, before I get on with that, I just want to mention January, because January was a very difficult month to forecast. In the video, I actually went on a little bit, and I know I annoyed a few people how repetitive I was, but it was a really difficult forecast to pin down, because the computer models, the long range models, were all going for a very warm month, a very warm January indeed, and I just didn't think it looked right, and at some length I had to explain why I was going away from what the computer models were showing, and we were starting off very mild as well, of course, through January. And I said that it was likely that we'd see a month of two halves, with a very mild first half offset by a much cooler second half. And I'm quite pleased with how it worked out, really, although the cooler weather actually arrived a little bit quicker than I thought it would in the second week of the month. Nevertheless, I'm still quite pleased with how that general forecast worked out, going against those long-range models. And I actually said that the temperatures would be around or just a little bit above average, but in fact we ended up a little bit below average. But nevertheless, I think I really pinned down the switch around that I expected to do quite well, so I'm quite pleased with how the January forecast turned out. It was a very interesting month, a really warm first half, then we had that very bitter cold spell and snowy spell through the middle phase, and then it got milder in the final few days, so a very interesting January, that one, and I'm quite pleased with how the forecast turned out. So now let's get on with February. This is the CFS version 2 model. It's the only CFS model that they have now in the United States, so quite why it's version 2 I don't know, but nevertheless it's CFS version 2. It can be found on my links page, or the link to this model can be found on my links page. These are 700 millibar height anomalies, similar to the 500 millibar height idea, where we've got the red colours and the orange colours. That's where we've got above average heights at 700 millibars. The blue colours indicate where we've got below average heights at 700 millibars. So what we're seeing here is that model is predicting an anomalous ridge in the Atlantic stretching up to the north and west of the British Isles, going up to the North Pole, and an anomalous trough here across central parts of Europe, below average heights, big area of below average heights across Central Europe. So this is a cold signal. It's a signal for blocking in the Atlantic to the west and to the north of the British Isles, and a trough to the east and the south. And you would expect with this that the mean wind direction would be north or east at quite regular intervals. So consequently, the CFS version 2 model is forecasting an area of cooler temperatures here for the British Isles and for much of northern and western Europe as well. All areas really looking cooler through the month of February. A below average temperature month is forecast there. And for precipitation, well, unsurprisingly, we've got a huge area of wetter than average conditions, or above average precipitation. Some of it would be snow across many of these central parts of Europe. Not surprising, because there's a big trough of low pressure spinning away here across central parts of Europe, and the drier weather is up over Scandinavia and to the north of British Isles in towards Scotland, and to the west into Ireland and Iceland, and up to Greenland as well. So definitely a very strong signal there from the CFS model, which is for a trough of low pressure to be sitting across Central Europe, a ridge in the Atlantic and to the north of British Isles, producing a cooler than average month. And for precipitation, well, it's near normal for the south, but it wouldn't take much actually to bring it wetter than average in the south and push out near normal precipitation areas further north. Well, let's have a look at the Beijing Climate Centre to see whether the Beijing Climate Centre is in agreement. And broadly, you have to say that on these 500 millibar height anomalies, which is very similar to the 700 millibar height idea, it's just a slightly different area in the atmosphere, you have to say that very broadly the model is in agreement. We've got the above average heights here to the west of British Isles, going towards Greenland, and then if we go over here we can see we've got above average heights stretching to the north of Scandinavia as well. So yes, the signal for the month is for an anomalous ridge in the Atlantic going up to the northwest of British Isles, and there's the trough of below average heights here across central parts of Europe as well. So the mean wind direction again with these heights would be generally north or perhaps northwest at times across British Isles. I'm not sure the ridging to the north over Scandinavia or to the north of Scandinavia is quite as strong as it is on the CFS version 2 model, but it's a similar sort of idea. you would expect temperatures to be below average for the month, if that's right. So let's have a look. Well, there are the temperature anomalies, and yes, the Beijing Climate Centre is forecasting a cooler than average month here across many parts of Britain and out in towards central parts of Europe. Actually, the core of the below average temperatures is for central parts of Europe. And for precipitation, the anomaly is for a wetter than average month here for England and Wales, drier than average for Scotland. And you can see the big area of ridging in the Atlantic, where we've got this large area of drier than average precipitation, and going up to the north as well, and over Scandinavia. So both models are in agreement this month. Again, it was a similar story for January. Both models in January were in agreement for a very mild month. This time, both models are in agreement for a cooler than average month. And, well, the signal for precipitation isn't as strong, but probably edging towards nearer normal or above average for the south, and perhaps nearer normal to drier than average for the north. Now the question is, with this, have I got to correct it like I did in January, or do I think this is right? And really it's a guess, but my guess is this is broadly how things are going to play out for the month. I think we will see quite a bit of ridging in the Atlantic, possibly over Scandinavia as well. I do think that those temperatures are going to come out a little bit below average. Not a desperately cold month. There will be milder intervals, maybe particularly towards the latter stages it could turn a little bit milder. But I think overall for the month as a whole, for February 2013, my forecast is very much in line with the models this month. I don't think I need to correct it too much, and the forecast is for a cooler than average month. And precipitation near normal, maybe a little bit above in the south, maybe a little bit below in the north. But with a cooler than average month, some of that precipitation will be coming as snow, and I would suspect that snowfall could be a little bit more prevalent than would normally be expected. So a cooler than average month with rainfall near normal, a little bit above in the south, a little bit below in the north. That's the forecast from GavsWeatherVids.com for February 2013. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.